Coming up on the Code Bet Daily, a special World Cup preview. Of course, the Women's World Cup gets underway this Thursday here in Australia and New Zealand. And today, Stats Guy takes us through groups A, B, C, and D. What are we looking forward to here, Stats Guy?
Japan to shock the world and the Aussies to go really well in the group stage.
I think you'll owe me a sandwich at the end of this World Cup. But hey, as the Code Bet Daily, it is part one of our Women's World Cup special. And you better check it out because it's coming your way right now. Welcome to the Code Bet Daily. It is a Monday, the 17th of July. Oh, it has been a terrible Monday here at Code Bet. Nothing is working. Everything is on fire. I am currently dying. But you know what? The world is back to normal because I support a winning football team. James Clemente supports a winning football team. And the Stats Guy's team continues to suck.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
North Melbourne. How are we, Stats Guy?
Oh, I'm still good. I'm still recovering from that horrible match. That's the worst I've seen us play in a long time. But yeah, that's why I've got my Aussie scarf on. I just want to concentrate on the World Cup. That's the Women's World Cup. That's all I want to concentrate on today.
And that is what we are here for today. It is the FIFA Women's World Cup, which gets underway this Thursday in New Zealand and Australia. I'm trying not to yell way too loudly to blow out the sound effects mic here for Paul Geraldo. We've had some technical difficulties here this morning, so it's Code Technical Difficulty Daily, I guess, or Code Winners Daily as far as I'm concerned, because how good is life? Anyway, we are here. We're going to do it a bit differently today and tomorrow. The power of running CodeBet has gotten to my head, and I'm changing up everything. And I said, you know what? Monday and Tuesday next week, we are doing the first four groups for the FIFA Women's World Cup. So today we'll run through A, B, C, D, and tomorrow we'll run through the remaining four groups because, well, it's a goddamn World Cup, and we got to give it the due respect it deserves because it is about to go off here in Australia because, as we saw on Friday night at Marvel Stadium, over 50,000 people rocked into, well, we can't call it Marvel Stadium because it's FIFA, so we'll call it Melbourne Circular Stadium.
Yeah, Circular. Yeah, because you got the rectangle.
Colonial Stadium. There we go. Oh, no, Colonial's actually a bank.
It's called Docklands.
We'll call it Docklands. Yeah. So, FIFA World Cup, we're going to run through, the first four groups here. Stats Guy's taking control of them, so he'll be more running with it today. I'll just be the hostess with the mostest as per usual, Alex Donnelly, if I didn't introduce myself earlier, as content creators and writers and whatever the hell else we do at CodeBet. Go check out the website. There's a lot of everything up there. But as said, Stats Guy's going to basically run the ship today. I will host and we'll roll through. And no better way to start because, as I said, groups A, B, C, and D. So we're sort of going to run through all four teams in each group. Read out the odds, find some bets, and with all due respect to some of the other teams, we can't go too deep into them because, let's be honest, finding information on some of these teams has been really tough, but it's obviously awesome. There's 32 teams. The world game is growing. We have the first Arab team ever to make it in Morocco, so that's actually a sign that, world sport's going great. So without any further ado, let's rip into this tournament, starting off with Group A. Obviously, co-host New Zealand are the headliners. Well, for locals, that is. They are $6 to win the group. They're $1.90 to qualify. They're $1.80 to not qualify. Their odds to win the tournament, about 150 to 1. Norway, they're the ones who should breeze through this group. They're $1.33 to top the table. They are currently ranked, where are they? 12th in the world. They are $51 to win the tournament, $1.33 to win the group, $1.05 to qualify, $11 to miss. We'll move across to Switzerland, who are $6 to win the group, $1.66 to qualify, and $2.10 to not qualify. And Philippines, it'll be a shock if they are to qualify because they're 500 to 1 to win the group. There are hundreds to qualify, and they're $1.01 to not qualify. So pretty stock standard there. Stats Guy, run us through here, starting off with Norway, 12th ranked team in the world. Yeah,
just looking at this Group A, it's probably the worst group in the tournament, just in terms of ranking. So you've got no teams that are actually ranked in the top 10 in the world. Norway,
Stats Guy.
Yeah, but that makes this probably one of the best groups to watch because of how close it's going to be. There's a lot of other groups that we'll talk about later that, just not going to be as close as this one. So I don't mind, this group in Group A. Same with Norway. They're one of only four teams to actually win the World Cup. You got USA, Japan. I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. Might have been
Germany.
Yeah, it might have been Germany, actually. But, yeah, they took it out in 1995. I know that's a long time ago. And they've really dropped off since then. But, yeah, they're in a much easier group this year. They're known for powering through the group stage. They've won their last 7 World Cup opening matches and have at least made it to the semi-finals in four times in their past World Cup. So I think they're still going to be a pretty strong side here. They've got a lot of stars. You got Barcelona's Caroline Hansen, who's coming off a Champions League and Spanish League title. She helped Barca with 17 goal contributions in just 13 matches in the league. She was absolutely awesome. Then you got Frida Marnham, who plays in your beloved club, Arsenal, in the Women's Super League in England. She's just going to control the midfield. I think they're going to absolutely dominate this group. You got Switzerland, who are very inexperienced. New Zealand, who, as I mentioned, are very inexperienced. Philippines are making their first ever World Cup. So Norway are going to win all their games. I can almost guarantee that, and absolutely cruise through this group. Then we'll have a look at the second favorite in this group is Switzerland. Surprisingly, only the second time they've actually qualified for the World Cup. They're really strong in the men's, but just a little bit less strong in the women's. They actually made it out of the group stage to the round of 16 in 2015. That was their last World Cup. They've sort of dropped off a little bit since then. I think their biggest threat is New Zealand, actually. New Zealand have been really poor at the World Cups in recent years, but they're going to be a really close fight for second. As the odds suggest, you got $1.90, I think you said, and then you got $1.66 for both of them to qualify. So it's the closest spot for second in any group. So I think that'll be interesting to watch. Their captain is another Arsenal player. I was looking through every team I had. I reckon their star player plays for Arsenal. That shows how well.
What can I say, mate? We're a dominant force in world football.
Yeah, you are. So their captain, Leah Walti, is a star. She's a great leader for Arsenal and for Switzerland. Box-to-box midfielder. I think, if you have a good box-to-box midfielder, sort of like your Declan Rice, who Arsenal just signed as well, they can control the whole play. I just had to get a Declan Rice in there. I knew you would like that one.
We'll do your victory lap at the end of the show, Stats guy. Don't worry.
But I think, she will control the play. And Switzerland will be all right, but I'm going to back, New Zealand, which I'll talk about now, to come second.
Okay.
Now, New Zealand, this is not going well. They haven't gone well at all. They actually have the most losses in World Cup history without a win, with 15. But the last couple of years, they've actually become a much better side. They've qualified, obviously, again, and they've beaten Belgium, England, and Norway, who are in their group, across the past few years. I think I looked at that Norway side, they had a few outs and things like that.
Norway did draw with Sweden recently too, so that's sort of that's showing how good they are. Like Sweden are one of the dominant teams in women's football. They're third in the world.
But I think their last few World Cups do not suggest they're going to be really bad. They do suggest they're going to be really bad in New Zealand in this tournament, but I think they could provide a bit of betting value here. So I'll give my first tip of this group is New Zealand to actually make it out of the group. I think on some sites you can get them around that $2 mark. I think even $2.10. They're probably the best value to make it out of the group, as a lot of other ones are like $1.60, $1.50 or less. So I really like New Zealand here. They got the home crowd advantage. I think they're going to easily surpass Philippines. They've got not your best players in the top leagues, but they're really experienced at playing together. They've got a striker from Melbourne City, actually, who's going really well, Hannah Wilkinson. She scored at the 2 previous World Cups. She's just much more experienced than some of the Swiss players. So, I think they can at least draw to Switzerland, smash Philippines. So if they can do that and get their first World Cup win, they could progress. It's going to be a really close group. So I just don't mind taking the value with New Zealand on that one.
It's going to be really interesting because obviously just the quick rundown of the games, New Zealand play Norway to actually open up the World Cup on Thursday night. So their final game, which is Switzerland, New Zealand on 30th of July, like all World Cups. All the group games are on at the same time. It's awesome. I love it for that final day. So that's really going to be telling is basically who can get closest to Norway and then who hopefully wins that game against New Zealand. Because with all due respect to Philippines, both Switzerland and New Zealand should take care of the Philippines.
I couldn't agree with more with that. That New Zealand-Switzerland game is just going to be probably one of the biggest in the group stages of any group. So, if you're going to watch any game, definitely watch that game because that'll probably decide the group. And you're right. If a team doesn't get smashed by Norway and doesn't help their goal difference, then, you're most likely going to make it through. So I don't mind New Zealand in that one. So that's my favorite bet in this group. And then we're just going to finish off with the Philippines. They've had an amazing run, qualifying run. They've got a new coach, former Matildas coach, Alan Stajic. Stajic, he's built a great structure, and I think that he's moved them up 40 rankings in the last couple of years. They made the semi-finals of the AFC Asian Cup, actually, which surpassed even Australia in that tournament, which is an unbelievable.
We bombed out in that.
It was pretty bad. But, Stajic should just turn this team around. I don't think they're going to do too well. The experience at these tournaments is vital, and they just don't
even
have
in the
any of
last ranking updates, they did the last ranking updates at the start of last week. FIFA, that is. They've jumped into the top 50 for the first time in the Philippines. So try not to sell them too short, but there is a big gap between sort of the top 12, and then it starts to sort of dip away. Then you get to the 30s, and then it's like, okay, it's a part of the world game evolving at the moment. Like all these teams are going to come up. Like you look at somewhere like Mexico, they're ranked 35th. You wouldn't expect something like that, but it's just the way this game is obviously evolving. So this could be one of the last World Cups where we see massive blowouts, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's starting to get a lot closer just in the world rankings, as you just mentioned. Then the other thing is Philippines don't have any players in Europe's top 5 leagues. They're one of the only teams in the World Cup that actually doesn't have one of those really star players. They've got a few solid players in form for Western United in the Women's A-League and things like that, the W League. But yeah, I don't trust them at all. They're just going to bottom this group. But it's just an amazing effort that they've made it. And I think in the next World Cup, they actually could be pretty strong. So yeah,
we'll pay close attention to some of the bookies as well, because they may give us the over-under for points, because we did have that during the Men's World Cup. So hopefully we do that. All right, stats guy, let's go to Group B. Of course, headline.
Do you want to just give our top 2 for the Group A? Just like
I'll say Norway. I'll say Norway and Switzerland. I think that Switzerland will have a bit too much for the Kiwis. Yes, the home advantage will be helpful, but I think the Swiss have a bit too much. But I think Norway will top it.
All right, yeah, as I mentioned before, definitely Norway. And then I'm going to go New Zealand as a bit of a shock upset in second there. Yeah.
Let's go to Group B, which, of course, is hosted by Australia. But it almost looks like a bit of a group of death. It looks the toughest of all groups in the whole World Cup, I feel. With Australia, $1.50 to win the group, $1.10 to qualify, and $7 to not even get out of the group stages. There, of course, $10 to win the World Cup. They are 5th favourite currently to win this. Canada is next, $3 to win the group, $1.20 to qualify, $4.33 for no qualification. They're 50 to 1 to win the World Cup. The Republic of Ireland, $17 to win the group, $4.50 to qualify, $1.18 to miss out. And then you got Nigeria next, $34 to win the group, $6.50 to qualify, $1.11 to miss out. I didn't mention Ireland's price to win it. They're 150 to 1. And down the bottom, where is Nigeria? They are, I can't find it, 250 to 1 at the moment. These prices with Bet365 and Ladbrokes. First game between Australia and Ireland had to be moved out of the SFS, the old Sydney Football Stadium at Moore Park. It's out at Homebush because about 177,000 people wanted to go. They have got a sellout, which will be the biggest soccer crowd for a women's game in Australia ever. Yeah. And it's going to be awesome this Thursday night in Sydney. That first game comes up against Ireland. You'd expect the Aussies to get through, especially after Friday night's win over France.
Yes. Going on from that, I'll start with the Matildas straight away. They obviously beat France. I was there, an amazing win. They could have conceded a few goals, but they look really quick in attack. And recently have beaten England and Spain as well as France.
The England one's a big one.
Yeah, but who are all in the top 6 in the world. So, yeah, they're coming into really good form. They've won 11 of the past 14 matches. So, yeah, get around the Matildas at the moment. Definitely the best form we've had heading into a World Cup. We've had a bit of a shaky form last year, but definitely back into that form. I was just having a look while I was writing the article that will go up later today. Tony Gustafsson, the Aussie coach, has actually picked 2 players in every position just to have coverage. Their squad is exactly 2 players in every position just to have coverage, and I actually like that. They're the only team in the world that's picked a side like that, but I think that'll definitely help. If you get an injury, you've got someone that can go straight in.
Sam Kerr jams a hamstring in the first game. We've got to back up.
I bloody hope she doesn't take it. Talking about Sam Kerr, even she's the Aussie captain, of course. She's been absolutely awesome the last 5 years or even longer. She's the leading goal scorer in Australia's Matildas history. And I think she's just going to absolutely tear this up. She's leading the way, got a couple of golden boots for Chelsea in the WSL.
Makes you proud to support Chelsea, doesn't she, stats guy?
Absolutely, yeah.
She's one striker at Chelsea that can score goals.
Honestly, put her in the men's team. That's probably not the worst option, considering our men's team cannot score goals. Then another one for the Aussies is Hayley Raso. She just signed for Real Madrid. She's an absolute star. She was out. She got player of the match, on Friday night against France. She got the match-winning assist. She's going to provide so many assists to the likes of Fowler, who was very exciting in attack, also going to be a spark off the bench, and Sam Kerr. I think, that passing from Raso, they're going to use her on the wing or in the midfield as much as they can because she's an absolute freak. And then, the Aussies, just as I said about the depth as well, half their squad's in Europe's top 5 leagues compared to, some of the other squads, and I think they're just going to go quite well here. I don't mind the Aussies to make the quarterfinals. I think it's about $1.68 or $1.70-ish to make the quarterfinals. Then a bit more value to make the semifinals is at $3.20. So I think that's a really good bet. Just the home crowd advantage, the form we're in. I know it's going to be a tough. We might end up coming up against France, as we mentioned in the other podcast, which will be another tough matchup. But we did just beat them, so I don't mind us actually to have a pretty deep run, especially at home. there's a lot of pressure, but I think they've got a lot of experience that can back it up there.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so you're pretty keen on the Aussies just to go through, win the group, and maybe take the $1.50. That also sets up, like, because obviously we're based in Melbourne, it could really set up for that final game on the final day of the group stages, Australia versus Canada. That's on the 31st of July.
Yes.
That is at the Melbourne Rectangular Stadium.
We're going to that one.
We're all going, Stats Go. We all went crazy buying tickets a few weeks ago.
Yes.
That's like 2 weeks away. That's awesome. Can't wait for that. But you think that Canada go through and then it's Republic of Ireland and Nigeria. That's sort of how it should play out. But again, it's a World Cup. These things can't be sort of set in stone. I wouldn't be shocked if Canada do get upset by Ireland at some stage because, well, Ireland had their last practice match called off after 25 minutes on Friday night.
I saw that,
because of we didn't have it because media was banned from attending. It was a closed-door session, but apparently it was an overtly physical tackle to the shins of one of the Irish players who had to go to hospital. So, not ideal leading in. Pay close attention to all news sites for that. But I think the $1.50 for Australia to win the group looks a good bet.
Yeah, I agree. Canada will definitely be the biggest threat. I'll just jump on them quickly. Now they're obviously a bit higher ranked, 7th in the world compared to Australia's 10th in the world. But they've had some horrible injuries lately. I just read an article this morning. A few of their star players and more experienced players have gotten injured and they've lost a few matches because of that recently. So they're going to have a very young side. It might be one of the youngest sides in the World Cup, I was reading. But yeah, they've still got a great team. They've got Adriana Leon, who's got 28 goals for her country and even had a hat-trick against the Matildas this time last year. So it'd be interesting when she comes up against Australia again. Hopefully we got some game planning for her. But, yeah, she's a really good player that can finish with both feet. They don't have as much experience to rely on, so I still think Australia are going to win the group, but they're miles ahead in terms of experience, and they've got lots of players that play for Bayern, actually, lots of players in the French league. So, I think they're going to easily come second ahead of Ireland and Nigeria, who are a bit less experienced. I'll just, jump on the Republic of Ireland, your home country, as you like to say all the time, your motherland.
It is the motherland. It's the home of me.
They've qualified for their first ever World Cup. Still a solid side. They actually play a 5-4-1 formation, very park the bus mentality. They only conceded 4 goals throughout the whole of the qualifiers. They had a lot of nil or draws. So if you're wondering to pick which game, I would steer clear of the Irish games. They're going to be just trying to park the bus. But in saying that, that could make them still a draw or a win just because they could park the bus and then get a quick counter-attack. They've got one of the best midfielders actually in this entire group in Katie McCabe, another Arsenal player. Every time I was writing about a player, I was like, Arsenal this, Arsenal that. Their captain, Katie McCabe, she's really good. She's, just really good at intercepting the ball in that midfield. So I think the defense will be really strong. So I expect some close games, but I'm expecting like a few 1-0 losses just because, their experience. Then finishing off with Nigeria. They've played in actually more World Cups than any other team in this group. And they've had a much easier run in the qualification against some poorer teams, but they've only won 4 of their 26 World Cup matches in their history. So they're looking for that 5th win, but it's going to be pretty tough and in a very tough group. They've got a solid team. I just read an article actually as well this morning and over the weekend that they've had arguments in statements made by the head coach asking for better salaries and conditions for his side. And then there was a lot of fights with the government, players getting pulled out of the side from government. So,
if you go through a fair few of these teams leading into the World Cup, there has been a lot of off-field issues with a lot of teams in the last 18 to 24 months. It's truly amazing that some of these squads have actually got there and look like they're hitting form at the top time because it's some of the stuff that's going off the field.
It's crazy.
Doesn't seem right, but anyway.
No, so that Nigerian side, they've had a lot of controversy leading up to it. Their odds, I think, actually would be a fair bit better because they've got some really good players. You've got Oshiala that plays for Barcelona. She has got 83 goals in 89 games. She's on the short list for the Ballon d'Or as well this season. They've actually got a quite good side, but the build-up and a few players missing and things like that, it's going to absolutely tear them to shreds. The coach apparently is still arguing with the government. They haven't really had proper training sessions apparently even the last couple of weeks. So just because of that, they'll produce some goals because they've got a strong attack, but they'll struggle as well. I'm predicting Australia to win the group. Then Canada, just clearly the 2 best teams, and then it'll be a bit of a coin toss between Nigeria and Ireland to finish off the group.
Yep, all right, I like it. Let's go to Group C. This one looks fairly simple on paper, and you know what happens when you say that. It'll just
I don't know.
Complete. I don't think Stats Guy might have something differently. Okay, because this is the betting market. Spain, who are the second favourites to win the whole goddamn tournament, are $1.16 to win the group. They are $1.006 to qualify. They are $29 to miss the qualification. Japan are next at $5 to win the group, $1.12 to qualify. Then you're out to Zamibia, who are 100-1 to win the group. No betting on group qualification whatsoever.
No.
That's right. It is right now. Costa Rica, a 500-1 to win the group. $21 to qualify and $1.01 to not miss out. And they are right down the bottom here on the betting. Costa Rica, a 400-1 to win the tournament. And if I can find Zamibia, I think they're also
Zambia,
Zambia, not Zamibia. That's my apologies. Zambia, okay. They are also 400-1. This looks like Spain will just run through here and qualify.
I don't know.
They should get through to the round of 16 at the very least, which is what they got to at the last World Cup. This is only their third World Cup ever. In qualifying stats, guy, they scored 53 goals.
Yeah.
And they do have a former Ballon d'Or winner, and Alexia Putellas.
Yes. All right. So I'll start with Spain. They're obviously sixth in the world. They have dominated the qualifying.
They are the second favourites at $5.50.
But I don't think they should be the second favourites. Not even really confident they're going to win this group, just because there's more controversy, of course. Every team, for some reason, has controversy.
Yes.
The last couple of years, they haven't played. This is going to be the first time they've played a full-strength team in a couple of years, just with players pulling out due to pay disputes. This time last year, they had 15 players pull out of their Spanish squad due to pay disputes, and they actually haven't had a full squad until like the last couple of weeks. So there's going to be a lot of new players.
Still got the job. They didn't sack the coach.
They didn't sack the coach. But
George Vilda.
I'm a bit worried about their chemistry, and just they have hardly played together, a lot of these players, from what I've read, just because of people pulling out.
I feel like this is a sandwich bet, stats guy. I think they'll top the group easily.
Ooh. Anyway, I'll talk about Japan. I don't mind Japan, but that's just my value bet. I'm not 100% on them, but yeah, I'm going to have a look. Yeah, first of all, you mentioned Alexia Putellas. She's won back-to-back Ballon d'Ors, which is the only person to do that in women's history. She's been absolutely awesome. She's going to control their midfield. And then she's going to be a great passer to Alba Redondo, who was Spain's top scorer last year. So she's playing as well. I think she had some injury problems, but she's back in. They're obviously going to be a very good side. I think they'll absolutely dominate Zambia and Costa Rica. Especially Costa Rica, who, probably one of the worst teams in this whole World Cup, just definitely not experienced enough. And then, they've got an extremely strong midfield now. Yeah, they're going to absolutely cruise through. But I'm thinking they're going to come second, and I'll mention that in just a moment. So because of that, I'm going to look at Japan. Japan are a side that just live for World Cups. They're actually one of the 4 teams ever to win it. They won in 2011. They made the final in 2015. They've only got like 1 or 2 players from those teams that are the older ones, but they're actually a very strong side. They've got a new wave of young players and an elite passing midfield. Among that midfield is Manchester City's Yui Hasegawa, who was named in the WSL's team of the season. And I think, they're going to absolutely dominate in this group. They love to control possession. I was looking at some of their matches. They were up to like 70, 80% in their matches, just pass, trying to like that, sort of tiki-taka, as I like to mention, all the way through to the goals. So, and they also, although this is a tough group, Japan have beaten Canada, Portugal, and Australia recently. So I wouldn't be a shock to me if they were to top this group, just because of that inexperience and lack of chemistry that Spain has had in all the troubles over the last year or so. So I'm just going to, as a value bet, Japan to top Group C. I'm not saying it is my best bet, but just as a bit of value, $5 for Japan to top Group C. I think Spain are definitely going to make it through, and they could still have a really good run in the tournament after the group stage, but it's not the easiest group. So I don't mind Japan to jump up and possibly, get that top spot at $5. I thought that was just a really good bet. Then we'll have
Producer Gerald, please note that timestamp down, because I think that is our TikTok for the day of Stats Guy tipping Japan to top the group.
Okay, I don't mind that. Yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully, then
we need to have big calls, mate. We are a punting show. If we tip favourites, why would we need a job?
Exactly right. So then we'll have a look at Zambia. This is the best they've had in a long time. They finished third in the African Cup of Nations, which was an amazing effort. And they got some shock wins that sort of put them on the map at the Tokyo Olympics. Their defense is, extremely worrying. They've conceded 4 goals a lot. I think every second game they're conceding 4 goals.
But with all due respect to them, they're not up to this level.
No, they're not. But
they're building, but this is one of the teams, like you see, a lot of nations qualify through their obviously their region, but they just aren't up to that top level, which is what Spain and Japan are. Great experience from, because the thing is you get the exposure and the experience, but just at this time, if you do win, it's going to be a huge shock. Yeah,
that's the only bad thing about they went up from 24 teams, obviously, to the 32 this year in the World Cup, which makes it tougher. That too, and then in the next World Cup, it's going to be even more competitive. So it's great for the game. But they're going to concede a lot of goals. They've conceded so many goals. But they've got a really good attack in Rachel Kunundanji. Kunundanji scored 25 goals last season for Madrid CFF in the Spanish league. She even scored goals against Barcelona and Real Madrid, two of the best teams in the world. So it could be a lot of games where it could be like 4-3 or 4-2, I think, which is a lot of their games in the build-up. So if there's a team to watch, those Zambia games is going to be all out attack. But yeah, they're not going to get past the experience of Spain and Japan. And then finishing off with Costa Rica, that's the exact same. The experience. They've actually got a pretty solid player in Priscilla Chinchilla. Plays for Glasgow City. She's got 20 goals already for her country at just 21 years of age. She's really strong, but yeah, their defense and midfield especially in World Cups is so vital. Just players that can work both ways, as I mentioned before. They don't have the experience and things like that. They did make the World Cup in 2015, but they're yet to win a game at a World Cup. So I unfortunately think they're not going to win another game at this World Cup, but possibly have to build for more experience for the next one.
Okay. With that, we'll go on to Group D, the final group that we will look at here today on the code Bet Daily. It is headlined by the reigning European champions, England. They're $1.03 to make it through. I don't need to tell you what they are to qualify because you can't even bet on it. They are currently the third favourite at $5.75 to win it. They're actually my tip to win the tournament.
Same here, yeah.
They haven't had much luck in the build-up to the tournament because two of their superstars in Beth Mead and Leah Williamson, who is also the captain, well, she won't be for the World Cup, both did ACLs in the Women's Super League season for Arsenal. They're not playing. Fran Kirby missing due to a knee injury. And their record goal scorer, Ellen White, recently retired as well. So it's not ideal, but there is a lot of change coming through to England, this squad. They won the Euros. It's like, this is perfect timing for the World Cup. But it just feels very typical for England leading up to a World Cup.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of issues going through here. I think Ella Toone, this is just my one, having done a bit of a deep dive on this. Yeah. She's one to watch. I think she's an absolute gun. It'll be very interesting to see sort of the lineup that they go through here. England will be favourites to win this group easily. They are ahead of Denmark, who are $13 to win the group, $1.33 to qualify. The People's Republic of China are $41 to win the group, $3 to qualify, $1.36 to not qualify. And Haiti are next. They're $81 to win the group, $51 to qualify through, and $1.005 they're expected to run last. And with all due respect to them, it looks like they will be sort of the whipping boy of this group. I wouldn't rule out China sneaking past Denmark.
I agree with
their recent international record against European teams is extremely bad.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. I'll start off with England. I don't mind them to win the tournament as well. Yeah. Obviously, they just won.
They need to top the group, though, because they avoid Australia in the round of 16 if they top the group. Yeah,
there's a few groups around here that, if they top the group, you get to avoid a few of the really good teams. So England,
that's why need to top the group. We'll talk about it tomorrow. America's draw is so good to them.
Yeah, it is actually. They took down Germany, Spain, and Norway to win the Euros, which is an absolutely amazing effort, and that's why they're the second favourites behind the US. They're in incredible form. They're unbeaten in their last 24 games. You did mention about their injuries, but their depth is unbelievable. Oh, yeah. They've got experience through Rachel Daly, who actually you can go on codebet.com.au, check out Golden Boot. I think she was my pick for the Golden Boot. She was second in the Euros for the Golden Boot. Behind Beth Mead, who was injured. So now she's going to get more of a starting role for England here. I think she can finish with both feet. She scored 5 goals in that Euro tournament, and in a pretty easy group, I think she's going to absolutely tear it up. And then you got Lauren James, Reece James, James' sister, absolute amazing family, both very skillful for Chelsea. She's been awesome in the WSL. I think, their attack is awesome. They've got a really tall, strong defense, which is perfect for a World Cup. And then the depth, it just keeps on going. They've got Mary Earps, who's known as probably the best keeper in the world. She's got a clean sheet percentage of over 65%, which is when she plays for England, which is absolutely awesome. And England have been so good. They've made the final in the last 3 major tournaments. They're big. They're definitely the US's biggest threat. Obviously, the US are heavy favorites, but if they keep playing the way that they're playing like this, they can rotate such a deep squad. Even with those injuries, their squad is extremely deep. So I think they're the US's best threat, and definitely, value bet at $5.50 to win the whole thing. I think, that's probably my pick, and I think you're going through with them with the same on TikTok. I saw a video of you, Alex, if people want to check that one out.
Tipping them in them or the Germans to win the tournament, sort of my pick. This does look sort of, if England somehow stuff this up in this group, it just adds to the joke for us Australians. Honestly, they are too good. They should be topping this group. There's no betting value in them, obviously, unless it's for them to win the tournament. But this one looks pretty cut and dry. England, Denmark, China, Haiti will be sort of the order. All right, Stats Guy, that is the first 4 groups that we have previewed here on the Code Bet Daily. We'll be in the studio tomorrow to do the next 4. But hey, you seem like you have a best bet for the top 4 groups in the qualification zones or just in general for this tournament. What have you got for us so far?
I think I said online, just New Zealand to make it out of the group stage was really good at $2 odds. You get a lot of others are that $1.50 or even less, $1.03 and things like that. So I don't mind that.
Yep.
And then, England just to win it, $5.50. And then maybe just one more, Rachel Daly, golden boot for England, $11 for most goals in the tournament. Make
sure you go to codebet.com.au to check out Stats Guy's golden boot preview. We'll have all the detailed group previews going up. They'll be up. One of them will be up right now, but over the next 2 days, they'll all go up. Stats Guy's done his piece. I've done my piece. They are absolutely ready to go and chock full of information for your punting goodness. But we have to mention a quick couple of bad beats here, Stats Guy.
Oh, we do, yes.
We don't have a bad beats bit yet. We'll get one soon. You, Stats Guy, you poor bastard, you, tipping Ons Jabeur to win Wimbledon, and you got knocked off by a qualification
unseeded
player? Yeah, unseeded.
No, she was called. Yeah, she's a really good player, but unseeded out of that top 30. Yeah, I had Jabeur. I still hedged my bets. So I still won $100.
Look at Stats Guy punting smart.
Usually I don't do that. I usually just back. But I got Jabeur at $14 at the start of the tournament, so it was still easy to make a bit of money there. But I was absolutely gutted watching that straight set. She's made 3 of the last 5 major finals and lost all of them. So. She deserves a win.
New Sam Stosur, maybe.
Pretty much. What was the other bad beat? You had a couple, actually.
My bad beat was yesterday afternoon with Richmond beating West Coast. I had a same game multi, as you do. Yep. It was a 50-1 multi. Right. All the legs hit, except for Shai Bolton, 25 possessions. I had Dustin Martin kick a goal after the siren to get his 2 goals. I needed Shai Bolton to have 25 touches. He had 23.
Oh.
Great.
And he played really well as well. He was probably taking it easy.
Yeah. Wasn't a good day, but anyway, that's Code Bet Daily here, done and dusted for the day. Women's World Cup, the first 4 groups have been previewed for your punting goodness. Go check out the website. Go check out the paper today. Follow us on all your social media apps. Twitter, not Twitter. Jesus, sorry, I'm losing it. Twitter, Twitch. Oh, Stats Guy, please take over. I'm losing my mind.
TikTok. What else we got? Instagram.
Threads. They all start with T.
Any of them. Yeah, anything that starts with T will be on there.
Yeah. No, I'm actually struggling a lot here today. I ran in a race yesterday. I ran a half marathon, and my body is just all sorts of jacked up today, and my head absolutely hurts. So apologies to everyone if I wasn't on my A game today. But shout out to my lovely girlfriend running a 5-minute PB. God bless her. Nice. Anyway. That is us done and dusted for today. Please follow us on all the podcast apps, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. This will be on the usual feed. EPL show's not too far away, Stats Guy. We are, 4 weeks away from the season starting.
Exciting. So much soccer, yeah.
We need to get cracking on our season previews, and we'll give you a quick shout-out, tipping everyone into the biggest certainty of all time, Declan Rice to go to Arsenal at $2.75.
I was very happy with that, yes.
I can't believe I got cash for a dude getting transferred. How good is
Pretty
punting? Good. Anyway, what do we say here, Stats Guy?
Gamble responsibly.
May the odds forever be in your favor, punters. Gamble responsibly, and we'll catch you tomorrow. It's Code Bet Daily. Out.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.